It's the 30th of July and it's back. NBA basketball is back to complete the season that should have finished, I don't know, 2 months ago. We've got 2 games to start off with, and wouldn't believe it, Utah Jazz is one of them. They're playing right now against the Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans. If this doesn't wake you up to this Corona BS shit, nothing will. 100% this will wake you up, and I'll show you why. Why I mention Utah Jazz is because there happens to be a player there called, how do I say it? Rudy Gobert, but actually it's pronounced Gobert. There he is, the Frenchman. And the reason why they say here, the NBA's BS-19, Patient Zero, he has been called Patient Zero, says his monumental screw-up with his team could make the Utah Jazz even stronger 5 months later. It's actually 4.5, but 5 months later. There is Rudy Gobert, or Gobert. And if you don't know the story, I am going to tell you the story right now. There he is, just about, I think, to get up from a press conference. I'll show you the whole thing here. This is March the 12th, okay? And wouldn't you believe it, that's the day that supposedly the WHO declared this virus to be a pandemic, even though he didn't. Mr. Ted Ross just said it had the characteristics of a pandemic, but the whole world media blew it up as declaring it a pandemic. But anyway, title of this is Corona Positive, Rudy Gobert touching mic causes Jazz Thunder game to be cancelled. Okay, this is actually a few days earlier, this press conference, but I'll show you what he does. Of all players, let's just play it here. See, what he does is he gets up from his press conference and he starts fiddling around with the mic as a joke. See that? Touching everything. Then he's out. This is on the Monday. This is, I think, 2 days earlier, roughly March 10th, I don't know, 9, 10, whatever. So there he is. He's off. He made a mockery of this press conference, and obviously there must have been a question asked about coronavirus. And at this time, like this is before it was declared a pandemic, and right at this time, America hardly had any deaths, let alone, let alone any cases. It was nothing going on virtually then. It was all about China, Italy, Iran, and America was, virtually nothing going on. But somehow they had to get their actors in. As you know, we had Tom Hanks here in Australia, but sticking to America, the NBA season was on 3/4 of the way through. They had to get this big sellout here from Utah Jazz to do this bullshit. And lo and behold, 2 days later, I'll keep playing this guy supposedly tests positive. Of all the NBA players, this guy who did this tests positive. And the story goes he touched his locker room, and a few of his teammates contracted it as well. Of all the players, I don't know, 30-odd teams, 20-something, that's 600 players. You got all the team, the coaches, the officials. There's a few thousand people involved in the NBA, but it just so happens only this guy doing this shit, and 2 days later, he tests positive. So what happens? Keep going.
Michael, we don't know what they're talking about.
No, not at all, but it's nice to see the energy back in the building.
What's going on here? This is during the game, Utah Jazz 2 days later, and the officials are getting together because the whole script came out that he tested positive. Tested positive halfway during the game of the basketball, Utah Jazz.
Here.
Look at these idiots, will you?
Week here, folks.
They all know this has all been scripted well before the match even started, but have a look at these idiots.
Now, I thought the hardest part of that road trip, now this is my opinion, was the Detroit game. second night of a
No one knows what's going on, supposedly.
You didn't play a good game against the
All
Clippers.
right. All right, what do you reckon, guys? We've been told, before this that we're going to play this out. We've just been told that Robert Gobert, whatever his name is, tested positive, and he's actually playing in this game. What do we do, guys? Hang on.
All of a sudden, you got to hit the road and start an East Coast swing.
Look at this.
Detroit
They're all walking off.
on the second night of a back-to-back, and we're not really sure, folks. We're going to get some information for you as soon as we can find out. But clearly, game right now is a little bit of a delay.
And there's people paid to watch this shit. Oklahoma Thunder.
So both head coaches have gone back.
Wow.
And you see the teams heading back to the locker room.
Look at this.
The officials now going over to the school.
It's hilarious.
And so
Advance, due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed. You are all
No, due to a wonderful script written out by those behind this scamdemic, the game has been postponed.
safe. And take your time in leaving the arena tonight and do so in an orderly fashion. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you for coming out and being stooged and being a part of this bullshit, and make sure you don't spread the virus.
We are all safe. And you can visit OKCThunder.com for updates on upcoming.
on this game, and the official announcement just came that this game has been postponed. So any further information will have to come later on. That is all the information that
And
we
the
have
sheep
right now
will
that
march
has been
out.
disseminated
Bah.
from the league
Bah.
to us here inside the
Bah.
arena. And so the Jazz and Thunder will not play the game here.
So there it is. Can you believe it? The one and only player tests positive after doing this mockery. And the joke is, they go back to this shit. Could make Utah Jazz even stronger. And the joke is, Now we come back to this, and the joke is, Utah Jazz could be even stronger after 5 months, which is actually 4.5 months. And there he is, Rudy Gobert. And what is staggering, in the 4.5 months since he supposedly tested positive, there's nothing wrong with him, of course. Not one single person in the NBA has tested positive. And yet we've got this. We've got the USA with 4.5 million cases, 153,848 deaths, 8 new deaths. All these figures, 4.5 million, and we're to believe that this guy tested positive nearly 5 months ago, and ever since then, not one single NBA player has tested positive. So let's get the show on the road again. Let's keep all the sheep all happy. Let's finish off the NBA, just like here in Australia with the AFL, just like in England with the EPL, because all these sports are a part of it. These major sports are a part of it. This whole scamdemic and all the shit that we've copped throughout the years. So anyone that watches NBA, turn it off. It is garbage. Garbage. This fucking sellout here, tested positive 2 days after fucking touching up a microphone and making the mockery of it. Oh, yeah, it just so happens that the one and only player was him to do that, and he tests positive. Yeah, but he's okay now. Let's get the show back on the road anyway. So if you can't see this, is it all, it's a joke. How much more do we have to show you? Wake the fuck up, people.